Uncle Dave, I'll let you lead it off this week. Like you mentioned, it's another tricky week here as far as sides go here. But what's piquing your interest? What's your eyeballs headed towards for this NFL Week 9?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna take the Texans here, guys. I mean, it's another one I got wrong last week. I thought Dallas had a chance, so late midweek apologies for that one. But in hindsight, the left side of my brain kind of knew better all week that Dallas was probably wrong and made the classic mistake of kind of making things say what I wanted them to say. So guilty of that. I mean, I knew the Cowboys kind of fattened up against the weak sisters, and I kind of chose to ignore it. So shame on me. But fast forward, does that make Denver any better this week? I mean, they go up against the Texans. We throw them under the bus oftentimes, but they do have the number one scoring defense in the league. I mean, I don't think it does. It doesn't make Denver any better. I'm not listening to Munaf this week. I like Texans. I mean, their only loss at home was to the Bucks by a point. That was only road win was kind of a good fortune win over the Eagles rather. Excuse me. But when I go back to last week, I made the mistake of kind of ignoring the Cowboys' competition the weeks prior, and I'm not going to make that blunder again. I mean, Denver's played Dallas. They barely beat the Giants and needed epic comeback to do that. They could have, would have, should have lost to the Jets in London. I mean, I'm going to go back to what Dart did 2 weeks ago against that Broncos secondary when he threw for, I think, almost 19 yards per completion, which was why I took Dallas. And obviously, not a good enough reason, but I'll bet against Denver again and hope for a better result. I mean, is their defense any good or isn't it? I mean, again, they've played the 25th easiest schedule, and Houston's defense, I think they are good. I mean, they've played the fifth most difficult schedule. So I'm going to go back to the well and maybe I said Monday on some podcast. Maybe I need to regress to circa 2010 and just take all the home underdogs. But I like Houston here.
Yeah, let's also not forget for the Broncos, Uncle Dave, their top
Yeah,
defensive
Patrick
player.
Patrick Sertan is out for
Yeah, he's
London.
going to be out for a couple weeks here. And for the good news for the Texans is as of Wednesday that Nico Collins and Christian Kirk are fully practicing for this team. So at least getting some reinforcements back, more in particular, Nico Collins on the offensive side, where last week I went against the Texans and CJ Stroud had his best game of the season by far. And I think you got to give him a lot of credit for what he was able to do there and maybe building some momentum off of what transpired last week for the Texans. I know Woody Marks is starting to take over the majority of the snaps there in the backfield. He's been a threat for them, not only on the ground, but also through the air. Uh, Joe Mixon's status is still up in the air if he does return, but no, Nick Chubb did his thing last week. So there's a good balance between Chubb and Woody Marks in the backfield. But I think more in particular, what you mentioned about the Broncos, right? They've been fortunate, especially in that game against the Giants, as we talked about 32-33. The Cowboys defense just continues to struggle, giving up again 44 to the Broncos there. But now this Texans defense, at least the bright spot and the strength by far is this defense. And you mentioned number one scoring defense. And D'Amico Ryan has these guys playing at a very high level. I don't think that's going to slow down in this game here for the Houston Texans on the defensive side. So I think from a week to week perspective, they've been able to figure it out offensively. Now getting Nico Collins back, I think that's only going to help this Texans team. And now I believe this line flipped from they were catching 1.5 to now favored by 1.5 here are the Texans here. So maybe building some momentum, looking to get into the wild card race and potentially, make it into the playoffs now with the Colts sitting at 7-1 in that AFC South division. They'll need some major good luck or luck to go their way if they want to catch the division. But I think they can get a playoff spot here. Mac, I know our teams would add it last week. What were your overall impressions of the Texans, and what do you think about them this week against the Denver Broncos?
NFL comes down to quarterback and coach so often. Those are the dynasties, and I was really impressed by both of the Texans coach and quarterback, kind of for the same reason, which was their offense, which is not historically a dink and dunk offense. CJ Stroud has had a lot of highlights going deep down the field, but they didn't have their best receivers, and they kind of tore up that 0 to 10 yard area of the field, which is what the Niners like to do. How they pulled upsets against the Rams. It's kind of a classic, death by a thousand paper cuts until they creep up. But no Fred Warner for the Niners, and the Texans just felt inevitable on every drive. Like 8 minute drive, they're going to get a touchdown or field goal. That was the whole first half. Niners had two three and outs and didn't see the ball for like half an hour. So I thought it was the right game plan from D'Amico Ryans. I'm not sure how much he is involved with the offense, but I would imagine knowing Shanahan, knowing the Niners' defensive weaknesses more than anybody else, he was a part of that. And then same thing with the quarterback, able to do all the little things, even without a massive highlight day, really efficient day. He's creeping up our quarterback leaderboard. Uh, where I wish I would have drafted him during the pregame quarterback draft. Yeah, he's 15th now, where he's 12th in QBR and 21st in PFF. So after a slow start to the season and really a slow 2 years in between his rookie year and now, CJ Stroud's one of those guys. He's going to be a above average quarterback for years to come.